I want to take a moment before we delve back into it, with everyone in chat as witness.
Hey, May, do you think you could refresh? My profile pic didn't change on your end.
Oh, yeah, sure. You gotta listen to me blow my nose first. That's the price.
Yep.
But I want to take a moment to let you all know that you all did an amazing job, and I'm here as the dungeon master. I mean, you could see me on the live camera you're watching on Roll20, but especially on here. I was sitting here just absolutely blown away by the interaction and by the role play that you all have presented so far. And I hope it never has seemed like I don't appreciate your efforts, or that I don't recognize what you do as characters. But I want to say here and now that I'm very, very proud to have the ability to be your dungeon master in this game. This moment, as mixed as it is, as sad as it's a parting, it's a tragedy, or it's a redemption, maybe ? But this is one of those moments where I'm sitting here and I'm just absolutely, I feel absolutely lucky, blessed. Fate versus free will. You all can vote how you want. How I ended up in this position. So thank you all. Thank you all very much for that. And I suppose then, our sails are full of wind. The wind may be very uncomfortably warm and humid, but at least our sails are full of wind. And we did leave off then with the funerary. I gotta reset here. With the funerary rite being completed by Selene. Oh, I have everyone but you, Darkwolf. I can try and reconnect
I'm not
again.
on, but my profile pic didn't update and should have.
So when she said refresh, she means like literally refresh the whole.
Just refresh. Whole shebang. All right, Here we go, everyone.
A new pic.
Yep.
Roll20 is loading. Randomizing dice rolls, sort of. Hey, there we go.
There we go.
Hey, Lamau.
Hey.
All right.
And I managed to sneak in a quick Detroit hair plug while you did that.
Wink. Hey, everyone. Do you like vampires? Then we actually have two storytellers in this group. You all can plug yourselves while I'm getting you rearranged on the screen here.
Also, I uploaded my drawing of the day to your
my
creation,
goodness,
so everyone can see it now.
Yeah.
My heart so much.
Yeah.
It's what you get.
That's.
I know. I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah. So to those who don't know, right now there's kind of a betting pool behind the scenes on who can break Coffee Cat more. And right now, Darkwolf just pulled about 4 or 5 points in the pool.
Yeah. I didn't even know about this. Totally winning.
See, the thing is, I haven't revealed my
I've got a
hand
whole
yet.
game to break him in. I haven't even been trying.
Do it, Fluffy Sheep, do it.
Just got there. He still thinks he's a hero.
Let's see.
Just
now,
love every minute of it. It's fine.
We had a bit of an ahoy. Now that was just to sort of act as the push and the clutch as we're shifting gears here. But I'm going to place a token on the road. I'll zoom out a little bit.
I actually have a token.
What's that?
I actually have a token.
Oh, you have it. You have a token. Sure. Throw that on there.
Where do you want?
I just dragged over a picture.
Here, I just place them. You put them anywhere.
Okay. So we had this moment where the party was sharing their final thoughts and sentiment over poor young Norallie. And the silver dragon has been buried after extensive work by Bright, backed up by Jacob Stillwaters, investigator Jacob Stillwaters. And off to the side, there was a conversation going on between Jade, and if some of you in the audience don't know who Jade is, I would urge you to go back, and I can't even say watch the VODs. Jade has faded from the memory of Twitch. However, she has been archived in the YouTubes, and you can find her there. Or if you are on our Discord and you go to the adventure diaries, all of the adventures have been uploaded there, and you can watch them and you can learn about these other characters. Selene and Mordecai and Bright have met others along the way. Mordecai especially with his eulogy and talking about this same violin that has played the same the same dirge, the same song of mourning for other people, including Jade of all people. So I would urge you to go back and you could start with session 0. Our session 0 was even put up there, and I'm sure that we even a year ago we were all extremely scrubby and lame, and now here we are a year later as totally awesome people. So it's been a magical journey so far. We're totally not scrubs anymore. Totally.
Are you sure about that?
We have plenty of time to prove ourselves wrong in the future. I'm sure I'll bungle something and I'll somehow set Roll20 on fire. All right, so we heard in Ahoy as the as the ritual had come to an end. Norallie's bones were gathered up by Selene.
Yep, her body has been sealed and preserved inside of a cloth package.
All right, and I mean it'll take a little bit of time, but you can, if you ever need to, you could put her back together. You have her bones, her crystalline bones. So as this is concluding,
only need the skull.
From the south. Well, are you only taking the skull then, or are you taking the whole thing?
No, I'm taking all of it.
Okay, I was gonna say there is still a crystal shard coming out of her sternum, so and her. I mean, there's her bones, but anyway. So you heard like in Ahoy or whomever, that has sort of broken up this somber gathering on the beach in the ruins of this seaside house. The ice effects have long since, sort of like melted and drifted back out. So they're on there, but I'm not going to nuke the whole map for that. So anyway, we are going to pick up with the prompt of a voice who is hailing a party that he sees amassed on the beach, and so the first words will be yours, mysterious figure.
Are you all doing all right over there?
There are a lot of mysterious travelers on this road.
Quiet.
You're telling me.
Yes, I've run into 3 of them already.
Very funny, investigator.
It's all about the
Let's-
angle of perception.
Yes.
Where's the other chance? Or he, possibly. I think this one's a he.
I don't know.
But it's hard to tell from this distance. Let's go closer. Come on, Piggy Sue.
I'll sort things out over here. You can talk to the people. I'm just gonna sort out,
You're just going to desecrate a corpse, yes.
Hi. Hi.
This is actually the exact opposite, but okay.
Name's Treadle, but most people call me Bright. This is Mordecai, and this is my cricket, Piggy Sue.
Hello. My name is Casimir.
Casimir.
Hey. Hi. Hi. That's really all I have to say because I was here before, so I wasn't
Yeah.
really planning on talking to anyone, so I don't really have anything to say.
You guys are seeing a male wood elf, very tanned, dark hair, who is wearing a very unique looking set of scale armor that to Mordecai probably will look familiar. The armor plates seem to be made out of Aslandian sand dogs.
Bold choice.
Reading.
Hello.
Oh. Hi. Yeah, so I think we've established hello, so that's good. So were you just passing through?
It's a bit annoying to yell.
Oh, yeah, sure. Come on across. Let's see, do that.
I just kind of watch Casimir for a moment.
Okay.
Is it like waiting, or was there magic, or what?
Waiting. Was there a large creature over here recently?
Who wants to know?
So, do you mean like a cow, or what?
No, I saw something flying in distance, and I came, but it's not around.
That was probably a bird. They come and go. It's hard to keep track of them individually.
It was shining like silver coins.
Yeah, that was probably like a bird with a mirror. Sometimes they steal mirrors.
I don't think birds carry mirrors in this country.
Selene will call out, yeah, sorry, no, that was me. I'm a wizard, I transmute things, and I accidentally turned a bird into silver.
Very interesting.
She's not a wizard.
Also very interesting.
All right. Listen. What do you want?
Oh, well, I was trying
This
to
thing flying in
investigate
the air.
silver bird, I guess. Did not look that good to me, but I was far off.
I mean, I've seen birds made of glass here in this particular country, so...
I have not yet. If you see one, show me. It would be very nice.
There's a whole bunch of them up in Northport. If that's what you're interested in, you can just go up there. They're everywhere. They're just on the street posts or the street lamps.
You know, I haven't been up in Northport. I stay around the southern. Usually, I've been traveling.
I can tell.
Oh, can you?
Aslandian.
Yeah, I was born there. Yes, I was raised there.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
When is it that you came to Mesomasco?
Let's see. Quite a few years ago, I got very tired of desert country.
The desert is awful, isn't it?
It is, and I find this Mesomasca very nice. The forest and the coastline is very nice, and even the mountains. They get cold, but they're very nice. They're very different.
Not a lot of gnomes here, but it seems you found one, Casimir.
Yeah, so that was something I was about to say. Is that I know there are a lot of elves in Aslandia, but you don't really look like them.
Yes, it's mostly high elves up there. No, myself is wood elf.
Yeah, that's what I was pointing out. Yeah.
Yes. Very, very minority over there.
What? Say again?
Wood elf is minority.
Fair enough. Cool.
Okay, so so we don't have any glass birds here. So,
or silver ones for that matter, that flew off.
Very interesting. Well, I guess I shall continue. What are you all doing here?
Personal business.
Oh, I see. Sorry to ask. Mind if I just look around, maybe see if this silver bird dropped feather?
Sure. Have fun.
Well, there you go. You're invited to take a stroll on the beach then, Casimir. For Selene and Jacob, who are kind of camping closer to the beach, are you engaging this person who is approaching, or kind of sitting back and watching?
Yes, I think right now I'm taking Casimir's accent.
Yeah. So, hi everyone. These are my other friends, Selene and investigator Stillwaters. And guys, this is Casimir. He talks funny.
He's called Excellent.
Is that...
Yes, I have an understanding of that.
Selene just turns very, very quickly to Jacob and is just like, she's just gonna whisper like very quietly to him, being like, it's like, I know we don't see eye to eye on most things. I think you would agree. Cannot let him see that.
I mean, I buried it already. So.
Oh, did you?
The dragon is buried, yeah.
Oh, okay. I
It's
actually wasn't
buried
aware
in-
of that. It's fine. Never mind. I did not say that then. It's like I thought there was still a hole in the ground. Because if that was the case, it would have
I
been like,
didn't-
do not let him come over here.
Yeah, I didn't intend for there still to be a hole because we had the whole thing and it was all done. So.
I see what you did there.
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
this is interesting. And Casimir picks up an onyx dove off the sand.
Yeah, that's
That's
ours.
mine.
Well, you just leave thing like this on sand. Very nice looking.
We got some attacked by some creatures that we let their bodies float out to sea. He
Oh.
dropped it.
Nice. Well,
Looked like something like. It looked something like this. He's holding up one of the pieces that's currently been minced.
Oh, I've seen those. Well, here is little black statuette. Here you go.
Thank you.
Uh,
I pocket it.
you said that you've seen those before.
Yeah, that's.
Yes, they're very dangerous.
I was just about to say, if you've seen them somewhere else, you should probably tell us. We make a habit of digging those up when we can find them.
Yes, I try to cut a
So
few
we
off
put them
when
in
I
stew?
see. No, they do not eat them. They're very bad. We stomach ache for like 3 days.
I'd
Terrible.
imagine so. Still, we must end up continuing on. Mr. Casimir, did
Yes.
I understand that he starts jotting something down in a notebook? Do you have a last name, Mr. Casimir?
It's Arashiro.
Sounds elvish.
Do you want me to write it down for you?
I think I got the gist of it. Arshirel. Wait, no. Scratch this out again. I must apologize. Elven is not something I'm quite as fluent in, and you seem to be a long way. I have not seen Wood Elf, yes?
Yes, kind of, well, they call it wood elf, but it's more of sand elf.
Ah,
Yeah.
fascinating.
Very much, desert born.
Desert.
Yeah, but, I do not like desert, it is too hot.
Oh.
I didn't much like the desert either.
Oh, you
Yes,
did
Lee
that.
just kind of side glances to Mordecai like.
You've been to Aslandia?
I have been to Aslandia, yes.
Selene, you would still have a magnificent tan.
And it's like, I am technically speaking an Aslandian native.
You also might be partially skeletal.
I'm
Wearing my mask currently, so no.
I'm
That's hidden.
confused. Sorry, I have not had the pleasure of hearing a true Aslandian accent, and if that's the case, then Miss Selene, Priestess Selene, I'm shocked to not hear it from you. He starts writing suspiciously.
I'm what they call a half-breed. And I also left Aslandia when I was
She's from South Aslandia. Sometimes they call it Australandia.
I'll bet.
Australandia.
It's like, you know, I learned a lot of my language skills from those who live on Lacuna, rather than.
Well, nevertheless, what ends up outside of avoiding the heat? You seem to be a long way from most points of civilization, Mr. Ashir.
You can just call me Casimir.
It's probably
Of
better.
course, Mr. Ashir. Of course.
It's incredibly funny that he's butchering it so much.
I am, as you say, a hunter. I tend to stay in forest areas, sometimes mountain. I do also enjoy cold. It's very nice. But I don't do too much civilization.
And yet your dialect is something to be commended. Something I think a few of these would end up learning to continue with. Please
Casimir,
go on, Mr. Casimir.
as you are out hunting, do you have a weapon on your hip, on your back, or did you leave those behind, or something concealed that they wouldn't see?
I
you described your armor.
I'm currently carrying 2 battle axes and a longbow. Not concealed. One's on the hip, one's on the back. Longbow's on the back as well.
2 battle axes.
Yes.
Well then. That's
Remind me not to get you too drunk in the tavern.
Happened
I
once,
remember-
was not good. Had to get
Do
2
you
new
remember
battle
that,
axes.
Bright? Do you remember the tumbled wedge in Mask of
course.
Flowers? Because I do. That was a fun night.
Yeah.
What happened at that? What happened then?
A bar fight broke out. I cast Sanctuary and walked straight out of the bar.
Yeah.
No one was able to attack me. I was the sea of
Yeah.
tranquility amongst the chaos.
And then we spent like a week making up funny quotes.
That we did.
It was terrible. These fresh snow peas were spilled everywhere. It was a complete waste of food. Just peas everywhere.
Yeah, no peas and the peas and Q's were everywhere.
Maybe
Do I hear it?
Maybe it's
Do I
glad.
hear a sixth voice somewhere?
Maybe I'm glad I missed that one.
You might be tired, friend. Too much sunlight.
I
Maybe
would have
sit
to
under a
agree.
tree for shade.
Oh right, Bright. Considering you'll probably be the best one to ask about this. Do you think that that thing still works? We should probably check, right?
I mean the wait, which thing? Because there's a lot of things.
How we got here?
Oh, I assume that it doesn't work. But Mordecai can take us back when we're ready. So.
I'm gonna have to sleep on it, actually.
Oh.
Yeah,
You don't.
and camping out here is probably not the best, so we should see if it works.
I do have a solution in case we need to camp out, though.
Yeah. Okay. We might have to do that.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't work, and I'm not sure I would trust it anyway because it's it went all wobble wobble.
could try.
I mean, how
No,
far
I
are
mean-
we from Mask of Hortons, Matty? Do we know?
You were...
Thought we said we.
Yeah, you were just by the border because Jacob had traveled from Green Shield, sort of along the border through the woods, and over to the beach here. So this is, in the grand scheme of things, I think it was a day or two on foot. Of course, I mean, you know, magic can accelerate that. But if you wanted to take a stroll, you could.
What time of day is it?
By the time all this is wrapping up, we have reached noon. So the shadows have grown very short on the trees, and it's middle of the day.
All right.
Yeah, I'm tapped out.
Yeah. Let's go over to the shack and see if it works. If it doesn't, we can walk for a bit and then find a place to camp. If it does, well, we have an easy way back.
Well, shack is a very generous term for the pile of broken wood that's
Rubble.
on the beach.
Rubble. Check the rubble of the shack. What was formerly the shack?
I'll let you do that.
It's very
I'm-
interesting pile of wood here.
It was a
Yeah.
shack.
It was a shack.
What happened?
It broke.
Arcane mishap.
It broke.
Have to be
You say
careful with
arcane
such
mishap like that happens all the time.
Well, when you know a
kind
lot
of
of magic
does.
casters, it does happen all the time.
I mean, sure.
I'm gonna go and check for the hatch to the basement of the.
Sure. I'll let you do that. I'll stand back.
I'm just staying here. Yep.
All right, so Casimir, you're standing next to a wooden structure that apparently broke, and this character, this very tan elven heritage woman, goes sort of rummaging. Who's wearing the mask? She must be very proper because she's not even in a big city and she's wearing a mask like you normally would. You know,
Yes.
look, it's not unheard of. Some people just love the masks. It's Mesomasca. But, you know, whatever. And so she just starts going rummaging through the wood and the debris, given the consent and permission of Bright.
You need assistance, miss?
Sure, if you wish to move some rubble, that would be fine.
Okay, I can do.
And Mordecai is realizing the tragedy of Wright's hair and maybe wants to go and help her. Like, style it cutely.
Yeah, it's okay. I was hoping. I mean, I've still got. It's around here somewhere. I still have my other floof somewhere. Maybe we can try mending it. I don't know if it'll work. But if it doesn't, then
I can
yeah,
help.
I guess it's just gonna be this way. I like having the side floof. It's not as cute as two floofs, but it's more than half as cute. So it's. This must be the better floof.
It's the one that.
The dominant floof. The dominant one.
If at any point you want to change your hairstyle, though, you can always ask
Okay.
me.
I haven't really been thinking about my hair very much today. I'm sure tomorrow I'll be sad, but right now it's okay.
That almost seems tragic.
A little. Let's put it this way: my hair is not the worst tragedy we've had today.
Not today.
Jacob, then, while
Possibly the third worst.
while our two tan elves go digging through the debris, Mordecai is off, sort of consulting, trying to find humor. You know, the bright lining to an otherwise a dark day, even though it's the middle of the day. What are you doing, Investigator Jacob Stillwaters?
I'm still taking notes as to details as to not forget what has actually transpired here, as insane as it all sounds. Maybe it'll make sense at another point in time, or as I end up developing more into the context of the matter. Suffice it to say, at this point, the current count is 4 points of property destruction. Does it still count as murder if it's against a fantastical creature? Who knows? 8 counts of trespassing. And I've only been here a grand total of 1 hour. So, it's been a very fascinating ride. However, at this point, I wish to approach Mr. Silver.
Okay. Are you asking Bright to scamper off, or are you okay with her there too?
I am quite alright. They are companions, and they are currently in a moment of loss.
All right.
It's at this point he ends up approaching behind you two. And he kneels down to make sure that his eyes are on level with the... They keep calling her Bright, but I can never end up calling her that. It's not proper. No.
Lots of other names if you want. You can call me Miss Quill Sharpener. That seems to be the sort of formal name that you like.
Quill Sharpener? I don't know that I ever knew that one.
He makes a note.
Lots of names.
Miss Turtle. Mr. Silver. As it stands right now, I am deeply sorry for your loss. And Mr. Silverleaf, you seem to be taking this the hardest of all. I understand that tieflings tend to have unspoken bonds amongst their community. It's not the first time I have seen this. But I will say this. The sun will rise tomorrow. There is a promise of tomorrow. For you, for your compatriots. You stand here as a testament of their goodwill and your own. You should be proud in that regard. Take your time to grieve. There's no shame in it. And everybody expresses it in their own way. Though, I suspect that Miss Turtle, if I recall from rumors, is it still appropriate for one to play the kazoo flute in moments of premonition?
Of course. I mean, it's kind of more of a traditional instrument rather than a popular one, but of course everybody knows what kazoodle music is.
Must be gnomish.
Definitely.
You'd be surprised. Perhaps we should end up going to town and acquiring a kazoodle for Mr. Silverleaf.
Sure. I mean, I sure can't teach him how to play it, because, yeah, that's not... I mean, I haven't told you the stories, but anyway, no, I'm not very good at music.
Well, it does require that weird bag under the arm and the foot pedal thing.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, the bag under the arm, lots of gnomish instruments have that. And then the foot pedal, well, that's something special. But it's really the crank, because you have to turn it forwards and backwards to make the different notes. Usually there's just like keys or holes that you can cover, something like this, but this one you have to actually crank the note up and down. So it gives you that, that slide sound. So it's really fun, but it also makes it hard to play. You have to be really, really fast.
Yes, but I have no doubt he places a large arm around the shoulder of Mr. Silverleaf. Our dear Mr. Silverleaf is up for the challenge. He kind of looks at him. And does Mordecai have that kind of, like, smirk, this is sounding ridiculous?
It's sounding quite ridiculous.
Has he got, like, what the heck are you... What?
What are you even on about? Yeah, exactly.
And he looks to him and says, "That's the look you will have tomorrow. That's the thing that matters." He places 2 fingers, and he's been professional to this moment, so this seems more brotherly. where he puts his fingers literally at the corners of your mouth and just a little bit. That look right there. The smile with the weirded out eyes. Because the sun rises tomorrow.
I suppose I should officially offer my condolences to you as well.
Another time. When you've worked yours, I've had 10 years. What's another couple of days? Focus on yourself and your, well, like you said, little sister. Hey, not that look. That's not the look. Mourn. He smiled in that very reassured way. Now, I have to get back, or else people might start thinking of me as sentimental and not analytical. Because you cannot be analytical if you do not have become Mananus. So.
Oh wow! You know, as an analytical person myself, I'm not. You're not wrong. But
and it's at that point where that awkward laugh, and he kind of looks. Is that the same face Bright has? That like, are you serious? Are you serious? Is that the same look she has, or is she laughing too?
No, that's what she's doing.
Yeah.
That's in character.
Yeah. He kind of looks to her and says, sometimes it's not about saying the right thing at the right time. Sometimes it's about saying the wrong thing at the right time.
Right time. Yeah, I completely agree. Good job.
He places the book under his arm. I will continue along your journey until you are safe and sound at home.
That could be a while.
I've waited 10 years. What's a few more days?
Actually, that's a good question for Mr. Casimir. Or Casimir. Casimir, that's somebody totally different. So, Mr. Casimir, where were you going? Where you just happened to stumble across the bright silver bird?
I was hunting. I just tend to travel around. I was heading. I was debating between Green Shield and somewhere else, but was I usually go where hunt is good, but thought I'd stop in town and get some goods. But different things. As you can see, this armor. When I lived in Aslandia, I hunted the sand dogs. They're very vicious. Yes. But their armor is very hard. Very good material. But I just hunt what's available and within season, of course. Officer.
I feel somewhat jealous of your armor, to be fair, Mr. Ashiraminil.
You bring me material, I can make you one sometime. It takes a while, but it's very nice.
Unfortunately, I have standard issue.
Selene kind of like hard turns to Mordecai with a look on her face that says, "You know, I'm actually now kind of upset that I didn't bring some material back."
That being said, you've formed this kind of peace with yourself, yes.
Say once more.
You've created this protection yourself, yes?
Yes, this my father taught me how to use material. But this set I made by myself.
Okay.
He must have been quite the individual.
It was.
Well, Mr. Casimir Ashiril?
You'll get to it eventually.
Mr. Ashiril, I would hate to end up imposing, but at this point, this is no place for hunting. As by their law, you would technically be poaching, and I certainly don't think that's what you wish to end up incurring. You seem to be a honorable fellow who ends up knowing when to hunt, and that he doesn't dare to kill a king's dare.
No, of course not. I was just mostly interested in mysterious creature I found, but it's not there, it's not there.
That being said, mysterious creatures, if that is of interest to you,
Quite
I
actually.
could use that form of expertise myself. And if you are willing to accompany, I can promise a benefit of the Sanctuary of Green Shield and its local militia. As paltry as the pay may be, we do end up having the ability to end up deputizing and end up bringing in specialists, and a specialist, especially from Aslandia in the given climate, may be valuable insight.
It's not that deal you offer.
I try my best to end up remaining to be amicable at all times. And most certainly, I believe that at this current point, any further disruption to this scene will only scare off the local wildlife, which works counterintuitively to what it is that you are trying to do. So, perhaps we should take our leave, and these three have some business to finish up, but I would love to end up hearing about where you come from, and if there's any other specialties you feel that you can end up offering to as far as services. And I would most certainly be willing to end up paying for said services and expertise on the matter. If you prove to end up being particularly useful, I have no qualms about increasing the fee, if that is workable for you.
Yeah, it's fine. Me, I don't care too much for money. I live off land mostly. But sometimes you can only get certain things in town.
Yes, like that axe of yours. Technology at its finest, and truly a fine piece.
If I could make some of these myself, I would, but can't get material unless you go to mines. Mines are in mountains. Mountain has towns.
Exactly. So, please, join me along the road and we will continue speaking. And these three will be along shortly when they've concluded their business and finding all the little trinkets that Mr. Silverleaf has accidentally dropped in his most recent encounter with this thing.
True, he's very clumsy.
It seems Investigator Jacob Stillwater's just kind of developed a twitch underneath one of his eyes. But,
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no,
He kind of, as he starts to walk away, he kind of just looks back to you three. It's like, hurry it up and don't make a liar out of me.
I have to refresh my level 20. Sorry.
Casimir will follow the investigator.
Yeah. So, Selene, we may not want to use this now anyway. Not with Casimir here. To take the slow road.
I mean, technically speaking, I've already been talking about magic. Having a little teleportation isn't going to be isn't going to be too out there. But no, I'm going to attempt to uncover the hatch that we actually came here through and open it with the assistance of thaumaturgy if need be.
okay. So you're still digging through the rubble and such. Now, Casimir, I do have to ask. You're digging through rubble here. I don't know if you spend. I mean, it's not that you're antisocial because you came over to visit folks, but if it's been a while, it might have even been even longer since you've seen another person who shares, the ancestry, another elf here, and she also has this beautiful Aslandian tan. Are you
Currently.
Are you discreetly trying to catch some glances of her as she's kind of oofing and digging around in the debris here, lifting stuff, grunting, or doing some squats? Or are you trying to no, I'm a proper gentleman. How are you reacting?
I would be proper. I'm assisting her at the moment. If she wants to bounce with me, that's fine.
Very good. All right. Are you doing any sort of subtle peacocking? Just sort of like, I'll just pick this heavy thing up right here. Or is this just, let's see where it goes.
Mordecai, darling, I think it means that you have competition.
Perhaps subtle shows of strength.
Subtle shows. All right, very good.
Do I see this kind of showboating?
Hey, Casimir said subtle. I'll tell you what, Mordecai.
I have a very high passive perception.
You can. Well, this is going to be more of an insight than a perception, because this is the intention, is lifting something in an especially demonstrative fashion. So go ahead and make an insight here as Casimir and Selene continue to rummage through the rubble.
I'm gonna spend my inspiration point to grant myself advantage.
Whew! All right, the juice is worth the squeeze here. Oh, look at that.
Red.
Yeah, 26. All right, so Mordecai, Casimir is working, and Casimir's not dallying. He said he's going to help you find whatever you need to find in the broken house. He's doing so, but definitely you are picking up some low-key, he kind of casually looks over, and maybe you can understand, it's another elf, especially from Aslandia. Who knows how long the hunter's been on the road, and Selene is just, is...
She minding her own business?
Well, you're rolling against Casimir. I didn't say you're rolling to see if Selene is, putting a little hip wiggle into her efforts or anything. But for sure, Casimir is coming across as trying to be impressive, probably around Selene, but of course there's strangers here too. But Casimir's kind of like low key, like oh, let me help you with this, or an equivalent. I'm not going to put words in in your mouth, but trying to form the situation for you here. Casimir is very low-key flexing, for the party, and maybe more so around Selene, a little showing off some strength. Is Casimir especially, I presume if you're carrying around battle axes here, you have a good show of strength, right? Okay. So, he's, Casimir is simply just bulging out of his armor and, flexing, and he has glorious hair, so he can even do that thing where kind of like, ooh, the sweat kind of, he's hot in the breeze, and, or at least in your imagination, this is what you're picking up. I'll let Casimir actually describe it, but yeah, you're picking up some vibes here, from, a rival. My goodness, the party has kind of shifted now. We have 3 male characters. Mordecai, you're not the only one. You have competition, my friend.
Let's see.
Can I
I'm not
appreciate?
picky.
Can we appreciate that there's been a bit of a role reversal where we ended up at one point where we had 3 males playing 3 females, and now we got our first female playing a male?
Yeah.
Can we just appreciate that for a moment?
It's a beautiful evolution of the story of characters and, and how things turn out. But now you're doing insight, Jacob Stillwaters, on are you watching Casimir's behavior, or is this on someone else?
Oh, this is on Casimir. It's more of a case of just kind of getting an understanding of who I'm dealing with.
Okay. So you're not you're not
Still,
picking up maybe an emotional connection, but Casimir, in your opinion, is a hard worker. I mean, look, he's picking up the heavy, some heavy pieces of lumber and kind of tossing them to the side, kind of stretching and you got to keep those muscles. Got to keep those muscles going strong. So maybe you can enjoy that kind of
I can. In fact, as Casimir's like, he's a heavy lifter. You see, okay, yeah, that's cool. And Jacob's like, oh, not a problem. Let me hit. He's trying to two-hand it. All of a sudden, Jacob just kind of grabs it. You done good.
Oh, do not give me this kind of power.
Mordecai just walks away.
Oh, jeez.
Completely oblivious to what's actually going on, just steals it out of Casimir's. Like, are you kidding, bro?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
I'm gonna roll an insight to see if I know what's going on, because Selene's currently just focused on the task at hand.
You're searching for the magic portal, and Casimir's certainly been helping out, and after a little bit, Jacob is coming over and like, oh, I'll help you.
Mordecai's trying to help, but he can't really lift anything all that well.
Hey, while all this is going on, I want to go over and pick up Herbert, or what's left of Herbert.
Yes, there is the remains of a potted plant that have been frozen. Well, it's thawed out, but there is a withered potted plant, and there you go. There's Herbert.
I just wanted to pick it up, and I assume it's.
I didn't hear anything past.
I assume it's completely smushed.
It's not smushed, but
You got freeze dried.
Yeah. I mean, it frozen, thoroughly frozen, then thawed out. So very limp and noodly, and discolored.
Okay.
Couple petals fall out.
That's too bad. I don't know what to do with this. It's too to take with us, and it's I think to bury it. I guess
put him on top.
On top. I'll just put him in the sand, and I'll just make a little bloop of mold earth on top of him.
Okay. Roll a nature while you are picking this up, Herbert up, and considering options and such.
15.
Oh, all right. So certainly Herbert the plant is gone. However, with your studies of the world and what exists, and especially some of the more unique flora that grows in the jungles of your home, there's a possibility that maybe if you saved some roots, or maybe if you could try and find a seed pod or something along those lines, you might actually be able to extract a Herbert Jr. Maybe.
Oh, okay. Well, then in that case, I'll hang on to him.
Seeds are very hardy things. They can survive freezes and droughts and such. Or and with the roots being in the soil, maybe that could have weathered the extreme cold more than just the actual petals and the wibbly wobbly parts of the plant.
Okay. Well, then in that case, I'll hang on to him. And I didn't want to leave him here. That just wouldn't be right. He was important to Norallie, even if,
okay,
effort into him. So
do you want to try and find these parts to recover, or do you want to carry around a flower pot with a very limp Herbert kind of flopping around?
Oh, if there were bits like on the ground, then sure. But I was just thinking that we would have time for it later.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, you can recover the plant and maybe kind of pick through it later for bits and bobs that you might be able to recover. All right, so yeah, that's fine. You have Herbert.
Okay. So everybody else is flirting and posturing, and it's just, they're all too tall.
Oh, yeah, poor Bright. Yeah, you are. Yeah, you see this kind of all this sort of animosity, or not animosity, but they're kind of outdoing each other. All these giants. And did Mordecai just look at Casimir's butt? Like, what's going on here? Like, he really seems to be eyeing him with a scrutinous eye.
You don't know.
I don't. I'm allowing for the possibility here.
Okay. So depending on how long we're going to be here, I'm going to actually also want to cast a detect magic ritual. I thought we were just about to leave, but obviously we're not. So I want to get started on that
Sure.
in my spare time.
Okay. All right. So Bright, you plop down in the sand once more, though you're not building a sand castle. Was Selene, Casimir, Jacob, and Mordecai? You find the pantry where the remains of the pantry. Although beyond maybe some basic supplies, some food, and things that a pantry would occupy, there doesn't appear to be any kind of there's no runes in no runic portal, no sort of stones that are filled with sacred sigils or anything along those lines. So
figured.
You were looking for a kitchen cupboard?
you have food at least. You can camp here or travel.
We may as well camp in the ruins.
I have better ways of actually accommodating us.
We have a lot of day left and a long way to go. I don't think this is where we want to stay.
So what do you have in mind, Morn?
I can actually build a shelter, like magically.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I heard of these walking huts. They end up having the legs of birds, if I recall.
It's not movable.
Well, the wagon huts, those are security guards. They're kind of like you, but not as good.
Fascinating. He starts scribbling this in his book.
Do these fishing rods and nets belong to anyone?
No, not really. We could use them. Go fishing. Cook some
Nice
stuff.
fish meal over fire is very nice.
We might as well.
That doesn't sound appealing at all.
There's several of us that actually only need specific things.
Well, yes, that's true. I mean, for those who
I
can't.
understand.
Bright, of course, being a gnome, has a very strictly vegetarian diet.
Casimir, as you're digging through here in the pantry, you do find a set of clothes that don't look like, sort of roughing it out camping clothes. It seems like some clothes you would find in Mask of Horns. They're not the best, but they are, sort of just urban casual wear clothes. Perhaps a little bit more on the, dressing conservatively. And by the look of them, they probably belong to a tiefling because there's a hole in the back of the pants for a tail.
There is outfit here if what was his name? Mordecai. There is outfit here might fit you. Don't know.
I go look at the clothing. Was it Mr. Halvers?
Yes.
What's it look like really? It's just
This
common
would
clothing.
be in the mechanical grading of it, it's common clothing with a little bit of flair and embroidery. It certainly fits into the Mask of Horns style, though it's nothing that is very ostentatious. Little bit of flair, utilitarian. It's probably like some earthen colors, a couple pockets in the vest, a nice comfortable shirt, trousers that have there's a fly in the front, but there's also like an adjustable hole in the back for people who might have different tail widths, or look, sometimes after a holiday, you eat some pie and it goes right to your tail, and so you got to loosen the tail hole a little bit. You know how it is. So yeah, just a couple buttons on a pair of walk around trousers. Nothing. It doesn't look like this belonged to a smith with little smudges and burns. It doesn't smell like horses or coal or anything. An older person's comfortable walk around clothes. You even have one of those one of those caps. You'll find a cap too. Has some horns that seem to be adjustable as well. It's sort of the folder, like the newsy style cap. Again, comfortable wear.
Yeah, I'll take that. Huh. I guess he keeps spare clothes around here. He just says that under his breath. I mean, it's decent fashion.
Yeah,
I'll just stuff it in my bag.
Yeah, it'll put 10 years on you. That's fine.
Or if I want to dress down in some way, not be so ostentatious myself.
Excuse me?
It's fake ostentatiousness, it's fine.
Really gonna have to learn
Really?
how to disguise the rest of the party. we're really needing that.
But yeah, it looks like the pantry is not usable for anything more than some kindling, or if you want to make a shelter, there's a lot of spare wood here, if you don't want to do it magically.
Thing I can do it with is a ritual, so
You can.
doesn't matter to me. But do we want to head back then?
I think
Done
we
here?
should. I think we should.
Yeah.
If you guys don't mind, I'll take one of the poles and one of the nuts, just to make sure we have something nice to eat tonight. Not for two that don't want it. It's fine though.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
I
It
have.
would be
I can-
heavily appreciated, Mr. Ashuriminenel.
You'll get it.
We're gonna have to teach you some Elvish, investigator.
I can get us back to Mask of Horns in the morning. Just not tonight. Do I have supplies for that? Yes, I do, I think.
It's okay. I have some gorp.
Board.
It stands for gnomish old raisins and peanuts.
Oh!
I thought that was Gorap.
I mean, it's a spelling. I mean, yeah, so in gnomish, the articles are optional.
Yeah, you'd have to put the articles in.
We have, we have
yeah.
different endings to the words to distinguish whether they're in adjective form or in noun form. So you can, if you said like good old raisin peanuts, then you would use the adjective form of raisin. But raisins and peanuts, you just use the noun form. So it's always clear.
Everyone, you got your gnomish
Scribble,
lesson for
scribble,
the
scribble.
session. Jacob, as you scribble, there's you're opening up to a page, and maybe the wind catches it, and you see that there's some black writing on a page that you don't remember putting there.
What does it say?
It doesn't say anything, and yet at the same time you understand it. And it's baffling, to say the least. But it says things that you have felt. It'll say something like, call on me. And when you read those words from an indecipherable text that is scrolled on this page, it doesn't manifest, but you get that same feeling as when the hair rushes and blocks. And there's also it also says, call on me, and yet it's different despite saying the same thing. And when that happens, there's just a brief moment where you, in the corner of your eye, you catch that the head of your hatchet once more, like for just a brief moment, sort of flickers green.
If you'll excuse me, I need to study my notes in private. At this point, he gives a nod to the entire group and a smile to them as he ends up finding his way out and starts to head down the coast just a little ways near the beach,
Okay.
near the water.
About 100 feet away, there's a nice sandcastle. Okay.
Seems appropriate.
So Jacob goes down the beach some. Now, is the plan for you all, are you going to start walking? Are you going to camp here in a shelter? Or, I mean, you have the ruins and the wood anyway for, things like a campfire or a bonfire or something. What is your plan here for the rest of the day?
Once my detect magic goes off, I want to kind of go scan the cabin.
Sure.
Just in case Selene missed anything. And I also want to go down to the bottom where we had the fight against the mushrooms.
Okay.
And see if we can, see if we can, or see if there's anything else that's magical down there.
Sure.
Just kind of investigate the area with my magic radar.
Okay.
I'd go with her just to make sure.
All right, buddy system. Unless Bright's going to abandon you.
Oh, I don't want you to have to cross the river again.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll go as far as I can, I guess.
Then I'll supervise.
And that's actually a good question for me too, because is it easy to ford the river over here, or do I need to use magic?
If it's not close to where things converge, it'll be more difficult here. But if you go around to either side, especially where it's thin here, you shouldn't have too much trouble. Just sort of, you'll have to get wet because your water walking is because that's an hour, right? Yeah, that'd be gone.
Yeah.
So you'll have to get wet, but you could very easily just sort of like start and swim across to where the mushrooms were.
Yeah, no, I don't mind getting wet. I actually wanted to swim in the last river we came to. It just didn't work out.
Okay.
So I don't mind at all. I'll probably just splish splash around a little. If I had more magic, I'd go into teeny bright, but I don't.
Okay. So in your investigation, Jacob's off there. The others are sort of, milling around, and Mordecai's willing to go with you. You sense nothing magical about the shack. It seems to have been broken or dissipated or just whatever it was. It's consumed, or there's nothing here of magical interest.
That's what I expected.
Though when you go down and so Mordecai, you probably you stand here and say, all right, go get him, Tiger. First things first, make a survival, Bright. This is you can do this kind of. Hey, I'll give you advantage on this.
Okay. 19.
Oh, you didn't even need it. I take that back. All right. As you are swimming
so
around,
I probably
here,
survive.
You do survive. But more importantly, while others were, talking about maybe catching fish or eating some of the preserved supplies, which are going to be very salty, they're preserves for a reason. You do find some very fresh springtime watercress kind of floating around in the water.
Nice.
So some other freshwater edibles that would be right up your alley. So you can collect those while you're Nomi paddling through the waters.
Paddle.
When you are looking around, you do see that there are still divination signs of these little kind of baby mushrooms that are scattered around. There was the fully developed ones that form this fairy circle, though there are little babu mushrooms that are down in this area that is very. It tends to be more shaded. It's under some big trees. There's a lot of water. Things are very ripe for mushrooms to grow here.
Well, I definitely want to thing with them. Can I tell, like, if they're mature enough to actually be returning useful intelligence yet?
Make an Arcana.
Okay, I'm gonna use my inspiration.
Very well. Boop.
Didn't even need it.
16 or 15. All right, so you feel very. What are you doing, Cat? It's down here causing trouble. Sorry about that. So yeah, you feel inspired. You're looking around. Probably, while they are magical and magic can operate in a, you need just a little eye to scry or to have an arcane eye or something. Given the fact that these are tied with a natural formation of the magic, and the size of the mushrooms that you were getting a really strong signal from back in Green Shield, you are convinced that they will grow to be maybe fully operational, but right now they're just little divining mushrooms that probably aren't doing much more than sort of like just glowing with the magic as they continue to process and grow and bloom and develop.
Okay. Hey, Mordecai, were there any pots in the left of the shack? Anything that could be used like a pot?
I don't know. I will go check.
Please.
I'm gonna go check the shack for like little pots or things.
When Mordecai comes back, Casimir is talking to Selene.
Okay. All right. So Mordecai, yeah, you go back up, back here, and Casimir, what are you talking to Selene about?
Just general asking. She said she was born in Aslandian, went to Laguna. Just stuff about that.
Are you speaking in Elvish?
Yes.
Mordecai, do you speak Elvish or Elven?
No.
Oh. Oh.
Poor third wheel Mordecai.
Oh my goodness. All right, so yeah, Selene and Casimir are talking in Elven, just taking a little bit of a break. They're certainly, they're certainly kind of sweaty from all this. The ocean breeze helps. It blows their hair magnificently, and the glisten of the noonday sun certainly just defines their bodily features in a nice sparkling, sort of romance cover sort of fashion. Or is that just your jealousy talking?
I am going to find a little pot.
All right. Make a perception or survival. It'll be up to you.
Perception, because
That's your jam.
24.
Ooh, all right. So you are very observant. And you excuse yourself a little bit here as you have to get close to Casimir and Selene as they're still standing around the pantry area. And you do
I'm not
find
paying them any mind.
Oh, all right. So you're looking around and you do find some intact jars. They are filled with a couple of them are filled with some sort of preserved fish. Some have preserved eggs. And the others have preserved preserves of some variety in them. But yeah, you find some jars of miscellaneous foods that you could either eat or just dump out, and they'd be usable, kind of like a mason jar.
I've never actually attempted to eat food like this. I'm gonna eat the preserved fish.
Okay.
See what happens.
Sure.
It's preserved, so it should be fine.
It
I mean, it
is.
won't hurt him.
I don't know if it'll hurt me or if it's not something that I can digest.
Might not be able. He may have fish poops later.
That herring is gonna go down the wrong way, if you know what I'm saying.
It's interesting eating again. Although if nothing else for show, I mean, Casimir, it's not like you're like, you noticed anything off about Mordecai. And what does it matter? He's enjoying a snack. He's worked hard. And so you see Mordecai eating food like normal humanoids do. And
Is something the matter, Mordecai?
And it goes down. It's odd. Your body doesn't, instantly reject it, or it doesn't turn to ash in your mouth, but it's not the same. It's not as satisfying as culinary experiences you remember from your life before.
Nah. What, did you call out to him? Selene? Are you actually calling out to him? Because he's walking back towards Bright.
Yeah.
What?
Are you alright there?
Yeah. Can't a guy enjoy a snack?
Alright then. She kind of looks at him suspiciously and is like, right, okay.
Have fun with your conversation.
I'm gonna roll an insight. She's not
Sure,
supposed to
go ahead. This is obviously odd behavior for the current incarnation of Mordecai.
You're afraid that bad snacking happens?
But he's playing it. He's
that.
playing it cool. Maybe he's trying something new, right? This is stress eating. Even vampires need to stress eat to try and feel better in the wake of something tragic happening. It could be an old habit.
Yeah, no, I might just need to have a little chat with him later. He can have a tendency to stress eat sometimes, so just want to check. I'll have to have a chat with him later.
If only Casimir knew about his stress eating.
But yeah, he finishes off what's in the jar and goes back to Bright.
Okay.
Or towards Bright, anyway.
All right. So yeah, you have an empty mason jar.
Hey, I'll float my mage hand over there to grab the mason jars.
And woo.
That's definitely easier than tossing them and breaking most of them. Which would definitely happen with these two high dexterity characters.
Okay, so the inside of the jar smells like salty preserved fish, but it's an empty jar.
Yeah, I'll rinse it out a little bit first here.
Bloop, bloop, bloop.
And then, boy, am I getting a lot of use out of this spell. I'll go ahead and take some of the little mushrooms, and I'll just mold the dirt around them and right into the jar without even having to dig them up.
Okay.
And I don't know how many I can carry, but however many I can carry, that's how many I can carry, and then I will zap the rest of them with firebolts.
Okay. Now, do you just want to take a clump of dirt, or are you trying to filter out the little baby mushrooms?
I want as many mushrooms as I can get, but I want them to have the dirt that they're used to as well. So they.
Okay, so a little bit of dirt, and then you want to try and scoop mushrooms, throw them in, put some dirt and mushrooms, kind of layer it or something.
No, I mean I'm trying to create potted mushrooms.
Okay.
Just ordinary old potted mushrooms,
Sure.
Except I don't want to have to dig them up and replant them and yada yada. I just want to move the whole dirt with the mushrooms in it into the jar.
All right. Easy enough. So that's the easy part. You just you mold the earth. You kind of scoop it up with your mage hand. You can kind of shimmy shake some of the mushrooms loose. You scoop some starter dirt in there. You pile the mushrooms on top. Close the jar, and then you are. This place has already been sort of fire savaged. Now, if you're using fire bolts, though, outside, because there are some of the little mushrooms that are growing in the brush over here and over here, fire could cause...
Oh, so it's a fire hazard? Okay,
yeah.
Well then, I have another way. I also have Zap Zap.
All right. All right, so you're going to take some time to sort of secure, contain, and protect this area from the mushroom biohazard. Mordecai, this is going to take a little bit of time. Are you going to stay and watch Bright electrocute the forest, or are you going to leave her to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to make sure that she doesn't run into anything serious again.
Sure. Okay. Jacob is still studying, and then we have Selene, and I don't know. Are you still in the wreckage? Or are you sitting down on on like a recovered bench or something, or what are you two doing here up in the house?
We'll sit down on a recovered bench. Why not?
Sure. Okay, so nice refreshing ocean breeze. Talking about, hashtag just elven things. Now, as Casimir, how long have you been gone from Aslandia? As a character to DM?
Probably 35 years since he turned 100.
Oh, so not that long at all in elf time. Okay. All right.
Casimir is 135.
So you left right as soon as you turned to be a 100-year-old adult. Oh, boy, they just kicked you right out of the house, and at the tender age of 100 too. Yeah. All right. Well, we have a stray bird amongst us. Well, Casimir, if you have with you hunting, I mean, obviously there's a war going on. And you would have heard things even from other hunters, as a lot of them have been, some of the cities have tried to recruit people who are proficient with weapons to join the military. And I'm sure you've been approached before by people who know you. It's not at the point of conscription, so it's not like you're fleeing, you're dodging the draft or something. But you would know for sure that, there's war brewing, and especially that Aslandia, whether you like it or hate it or somewhere in between, is unfortunately the front door apparently for the Shadowheart Empires. There's been a lot of skirmishes, a lot of raiding parties that have been spotted, and this kind of slow encroachment more and more through the desert as the Empire is continuing its descent further south in a way that's not just sending trading ships and whatnot that the people of Mezamaska or Kandor may be used to seeing, because that sort of economic trade still happens. It's tense, but this is a slow, like a slow circle, or like a pinch going on here. And you're welcome to have whatever opinion you want about whatever in regards to that. Now, for the fact that you have been out hunting, you certainly have heard rumors that there's all sorts of strange creatures that are coming to life, literally and metaphorically, whether it's out of the pages of fairy tales because it's fairies, or there's even people who might have contracted some kind of like rabies or something. Like they bite other people. It's very unnatural behavior. Now, you as a player, obviously you've been playing with us for a very long time. You know what's going on. You know your character. So translate these prompts and however much knowledge. I'm going to let you run with your knowledge of vampires or fae. In what you think that Casimir would have. I trust you in that regard, and you're going to have fun with it or explore or share knowledge. But if you're that far out of Aslandia, I was asking to see if there was any pertinent facts or things of like recent happenings that have gone on that you'd be aware of. But really the only recent happening is that the Healing Words, maybe you're proud because the Healing Words, this band out of Aslandia, is going around.
Very good band, by the way.
And really, yeah, they're cheering people up, and it's a very good band. Maybe you're especially fond of Roscoe, the halfling. Okay, so that kind of in/out of character translation. You can have, if you want to abbreviate things and say, so I've talked about this, you can. If you want to have a traditional role play with it, that's fine too. Let's see. So you two are talking about thises and that's. Let's. I want to cut over then to. Well, before I do, the mood is maybe still tense. You have a newcomer. It's still sad. I mean, you just buried. You've collected the bones of Norallie. You've buried a silver dragon here on the beach. Bright, you took the remains of Herbert, and you're over here just zapping the woods, and maybe that makes some of the people over here laugh. Whether Selene or Casimir, you just see this little gnome in the woods, like sort of like flash photography. It's just like zzz, you hear crackles of electricity, sort of coming down the way. Maybe an occasional giggle? I don't know, maybe. I'm gonna get them all.
Even I am not giggling very much today.
Okay.
Well, maybe a little, but not too much. There's one other thing I wanted to do, and that is see if I can feed one of the baby mushrooms. Obviously not one of the ones I collected, because that would be wasteful. But one of the ones I'm zapping, I'll just kind of put it in Herbert's little mouth and see if it does anything.
So you put it in Herbert's mouth and it just sort of rolls out.
It was worth a try.
It was a good experiment. All right. So some time is going to pass as we have Bright, the SCP specialist here. The others are doing this and that. So now we're going to cut back over to Investigator Jacob Stillwaters, who is on the beach, regarding his notes in a very studious fashion. What is going on with you as time has passed? We started. Well, we picked up with a hard time at noon. It could be a couple hours by now, just because we're taking our time or rummaging. What's going on with you?
Go ahead and lethality. It sounded like you had something to say.
No, I was just confused.
Jacob ends up looking over his notes, reading them again and again, finding these little pieces that don't fit, things that he did not write. Cough. And he's left to wonder if who he thinks it is. Mordecai tried to offer his condolences, and Jacob tried to push it aside, because that's what they needed. They needed to mourn. They needed to mourn more Norallie. That was the important thing. The thing about Stillwaters is everything looks calm on the surface. That's how it has to be. Everything has to be in order. Everything in a place. The Stillwaters family is servants, after all, in one capacity or another. So it's very hard to think that in such a short period of time he received hope. He received hope that Jade would still be around. And then just as quickly, that was dashed against the rocks. And for a brief moment, when he was hacking that tree to pieces, that hair strands that was covering Norallie, Jacob thought if he could save her, like he could save his sister. And instead he let them both down. He let them both go. And he has no way of reconciling that other than to continue on and pretend everything's okay. To pretend to be the hero that his sister kept saying that her big brother was. Even if he was just a rookie in a garrison. She saw him as a knight in shining armor. And he always wanted to live up to that. And he's trying. God knows he's trying. He's got to pretend that everything will be alright. That there's something good in the world, that good things happen to good people, that there is justice. And instead, he can only do what he can do. The best he can with two hands that couldn't even save a little girl. some hero I turned out to be. Yes. What would you think of your big brother now? Well, that's enough teary eyes. That's enough. There's work to be done. Stillwater's work is never done.
I think we should hit the road as soon as we can. We have a lot of ground to cover, and the thing is, I'm worried. We need to get back to Mr. Halver's hut as quick as we can, because we don't know what's going to happen to it without him. And it could all collapse. It could be open for looters. All kinds of things could happen. So we need to get back there urgently. So we should leave as quick as we can. Yeah, if we want to take that shortcut.
It's gonna take us a day to get there. We've already spent half the day, more than that. So it's either camp here or we camp somewhere else on the road, and then we get to Mask of Horns. Either it's the shortcuts or we walk.
I mean, isn't it dangerous to take the shortcuts and expensive?
Matty, I don't remember if I bought 2 sets of supplies or not. For a teleportation circle.
When you were taught that spell by Mr. Halver, he gave you two crests or whatever, 2 like keys.
Right, but I have material components.
Yeah, and so he would have. So with that, in order for you to use them, then he would have given you the ability to use it, and we'll say that you have 2 sets of them, because he was trying to teach you. He wanted you to learn. He taught you this magic. He gave you the access keys to these places, and he wanted to make sure that while I think they're expensive, but he still parted with them, and he wanted you to learn and use it, and hopefully it'd help.
Okay, because I hadn't marked it on my inventory that I had it, so.
I mean, I imagine if you were, it's kind of assumed that if you're, learning a spell that if you do end up learning a spell that has material components, that you would have at least one set of those material components on you because you have been learning the spell.
This is an interesting interpretation.
Well, this is on a DM.
Yeah, it's fine though. He has it because Mr. Halver was generous in giving away his things to Mordecai here. Anyway, all right. So you all are going to go back to the kind of this road that obviously needs a little work, but it is what it is. But you're going to go back to the road and continue to head to the southwest.
As far as we can.
All right. Then I think what we'll do is we will end here. The road will go along the beach. So what we can do is say that you make a partial day's progress. I know this is the desert, but whatever. There's sand. I
don't ever want to see this.
I got bright in the desert now. So anyway, just I'll get like a beachside camp, but I had this just here ready to go, and we'll end with this scene where not Selter, but what you all were able to camp out to
Nice
rest.
ritual cast tiny hut.
And we'll pick up next week here. And if you want to do either side role play about the things you talk about on the road, or a little bit here at night, then that is fine as well.
Some.
Because then some, right? So you have hours of conversation on the road. Casimir, you're certainly welcome to join in on the conversation, and we'll go from there. But thank you all for another amazing session.
We'll all have to get to know Casimir on the road.
Get
Yeah.
to know
Yes.
Casimir and get to know Jacob a little bit more if
Yep.
feeling up to it.
And I do have
Finally give him that.
just enough spells left that I can still do the 3 castings of Magic Aura.
Okay.
'Cause I'm only 2 days away and I don't want to...
I can't lose it now. All right. Well then,
All 3 of us have magic aura now.
lethality.
I'm-
You have Gathering of Nerds, and what
Yes.
is the level and prompt this week while we wait for you to raid here? We'll have some table talk or do something fun in the meantime.
So the prompt is defense.
Okay.
The level is 20.
Oh, snap. Doing an epic level
It is
one
a.
shot.
I am going to be the DM tonight, and you'll see some really interesting stuff, mainly to do with siege defense.
Well then. All right. Well, hey, get going then. You got to fix OBS. I'm eager to,
Yes.
to try and catch you.
Make
when
sure
I-
you
when I
have
see
plenty
you
of
live.
trench buckets.
Oh yeah, lots of trench buckets. Amazing game, guys, and I'll see you guys next week if I don't see you in about an hour or so.
All righty. Yep. We'll be sure to raid
And
you.
inside RP.
And inside RP, yes.
Yeah.
See you guys in the future.
Done that.
So, see you in the future.
Yep. For all of you in the audience, I'm going to get up and take a quick little break to refresh myself. And when we come back, if we want to have table talk, we can. I know it's been a while since we did any Jackbox. We could do we could play some games until we see that go live. But in the meantime, talk amongst yourselves, and I'll BRB in just a little bit.